Xavi or Van der Ven or even Romero, if those guys don't want it, is Tudor strong enough to actually leave them out?
Hello everybody and welcome to CADS. And for once we're not here to talk about a depressing result in the football. We're here to talk about something uplifting and joyous. A result, a draw against last year's champions. Okay, those champions maybe not quite as champion as they were last year, but genuinely still a reasonable side, and a point there at Anfield is well worth it. So I am joined by some gentlemen, some guys who can definitely tell one bald man from another bald man without any problems, unlike our certain coach. We're going to start with Marcel. How you doing, Marcel?
Fine, yes, thanks. I'm all happy, and it's nothing to do with the morphine. And
does the morphine help when watching Tottenham? That's the question we all need to know.
It does help a lot. I must say, I let out a scream when that goal went in, and nearly frightened Penny out of her skin.
Yeah, I let out a little gasp when I was watching Tottenham women as well. I was like, "Come on, get in there!" It was lovely. But I have some fairly strong painkillers upstairs from when I had my vasectomy, so I'm like, okay, maybe I should get some of those before watching. Anyway, hey, how you doing tonight?
Yeah, I'm good. Much better than last week, where it was just you and me. Everybody else was too depressed to get online.
Too depressed, I hadn't bothered to get out of bed to watch the match. Talking of, Ashley Colley, how you doing?
Yeah, I didn't watch that last match, so there you go. So
I'm not surprised.
Hey, just as a matter of I stepped out for a second, but during the game, I actually watched the game, which was great to actually watch a game all the way through again, with some delight. There was one thing that I missed because I was making a cuppa, and I only saw it in replays. That's our guy Souza. He did a kind of a Roberto Carlos, like from 40 yards out, and it dipped and swerved, and I'm going, holy geez, that guy has that in his locker. You know, that what 19-year-old has that in his locker. I'm going, okay, there's hope for the future.
It was very Bale-esque, wasn't it? The way it dipped and moved.
It wasn't you recall? It was like from 40 yards out, though, right, Marcel?
Yeah, it was quite ambitious. Let's just say that, ambitious. Yeah.
Anyway, apart from that,
I'm sure we're going to talk about Souza, because I mean, I had my issues with not Souza playing, but where Souza was played on the pitch. It seemed very strange to me. But our Croatian tactical mastermind managed to get it right, and we got a point, which is significantly better than anything we've seen from him previously, and probably above anything else. That performance was encouraging, right? That performance was enjoyable. There were things in there that you can look and you can say, oh, we can build on that. And when we had a result under our previous manager, you kind of felt it could always slip back again in the next match. And yes, our next match is Atletico Madrid, which is not going to be fun, but it is at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium with a pitch that is not going to see everyone slipping over on their asses, and maybe we'll have a better chance. I'm not saying we're going to win. I think maybe a better performance, and I think that's all we're looking for in that one, is a better performance to take us into Nottingham Forest, which is still major crunch match for us. So
when you say when we got a result under our previous coach, I'm struggling to remember that.
It's been a while. Yeah, been a while since we got anything at all.
Yeah.
So yeah, but I mean, we have had games. We had like the Everton game, you had the Leeds game, where there were blips of good play, right? Where things looked okay. I mean, I know we said Everton, it was just a case of playing ugly and winning ugly, and that would do it. But there were games which were okay. The Everton game was actually quite entertaining and enjoyable. But genuinely, there were games where it could look better, but you didn't feel that was going to be going on in the future. You thought we could just slip back into bad old habits. Anyway, we've been joined by Austin. How you doing, Austin?
Evening, all.
Oh, Austin's here with his drink. There we go. The night has started.
Me too.
Marcel,
we are not going to do the YouTube thing of what people are drinking. No, we're not doing that at all.
I'll advertise the French team.
There we go. French rugby, that's pertinent right now. Oh, dear me. Austin, how you doing?
I'm all right. I'm a damn sight better than I was before the weekend.
Yeah.
I thought, mentioning rugby, which Marcel's just brought up, I thought that was the best game of rugby I think I've seen in years and years and years and years.
Yeah.
And despite the fact we lost, I just thought it was a fabulous game. I don't care whether we won or lost. We didn't get the wooden spoon rather. And then
the Welsh have cornered the market on that one.
We did.
Yes, sorry, Ash. Then yesterday, I didn't see the game because I was out. And I watched it again this morning. Well, not again. I watched it for the first time this morning in its entirety. And I finished feeling very positive. For the most positive I've felt, I think, all season. Apart from maybe after the first 2 games or 3 games when we'd started reasonably well. But I saw some football yesterday with desire. I saw some skill. I saw a couple of younger players that looked as though they've got more than potential. And so I felt very positive.
Yeah. What did everybody think of the starting lineup? I mean, I was a little bit, my ghast was flabbered, let's put it that way. I was a bit shocked to see that we were playing a left back over on the right wing and a right back who could potentially play right wing over at left back. It just didn't seem to make any sense to me. And I kind of thought, well, maybe Tudor was expecting Slot to do something different with his starting 11. So he was bringing in Souza to cut down whoever was going down the right wing for Liverpool. But it just didn't seem to ever work. I like Souza. I think he's a good little player. I think he's got some real potential. Needs to work on his defending quite a bit, which may be why he didn't want to play him in defence. But there's definitely some potential there. And he can join our little band of young, full of potential teenagers, because we got a few of them.
Could it have been that
I don't know if you've
we all
seen
thought he was going to go? Oh, sorry, yeah, sorry.
No, you go ahead, Marcel.
He was. Oh, Ligo.
Late arrival from the Serengeti.
We all thought he was going to go 3-5-2, didn't we? But in fact, it slipped to a back 4, and with the back 4 with Spence there playing left back, it's a tried and tested formula for most of the season. They're used to playing that way, so maybe that's the thinking behind it.
Okay, but Marcel, what have our results been like for most of the season?
I was going to say they did
that way. I don't know.
an interview with they did an interview with Tudor afterwards, and he said it was a last minute change because Gallagher was sick and Souza had to come in. They were already set with the defense of how they wanted to play with Spence and Porro. So with not many players fit, he had to do a job on that side. So they didn't want to mess with the back division that he had set up and trained within the week. So I think Marcel was probably right there, Marcel.
Yeah, thanks. Could I just say then? Could I hope that Gallagher stays sick for another week or 2?
I kind of felt that Tudor was trying to play 4D chess when our players are pretty much only capable of checkers right now. It seemed that he was trying to be too smart for his own good, almost, in trying to fit players in. And we've seen a little bit of that from him. I hope he's learnt from this and said, okay, sometimes simpler is best. And we played a simple game yesterday. There was nothing particularly difficult about what we were doing. There was nothing particularly out of the box thinking. And it seemed to work much, much better. Putting players in their most of the players in their actual positions and letting them do the role they've played for most of their careers. Amazingly, they looked more competent.
I think you're being a bit hard on him, Stu. He only had 12 outfield players to work with. So he was, as Gallagher going out was maybe a godsend, but he didn't have many options, and I thought you did a pretty good job. I quite liked that.
That's kind of my thing. Was he forced into playing that way simply because of the lack of options? Would he have even overcomplicated it further if he had more options available to him?
No, maybe. if you wonder, I don't know if Salah was supposed to be starting. He's just a shadow of his former self. Great player as he has been. I was wondering if he was thinking of also the having the young guy facing Salah. If Salah had started and you'd put Souza on the left, he would have been facing Salah. Although Sloboslai or whatever his name is, he's pretty tricky as well. So anyway, it might have also been going, well, we can keep him out in the firing line by putting him out on the flank. And I don't have any other options.
Go on, Austin.
I think I think he withheld Salah and what's his face for their European game on Wednesday.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think he thought they'd probably beat us comfortably anyway, and that he'd keep his two big guns out for the moment.
Yep.
Let's be realistic.
Yeah.
Let's be realistic here. We thought they would beat us comfortably. I mean, it's no major shock if they had done. The shock is that we managed to actually put in a good result and put in a good performance and get a result out of it.
We're basically a reserve team.
We're basically a reserve team. Yeah, I mean, we've still got 13 players out injured. We may have a couple more back for Nottingham Forest. There's still talk of, Cuti Romero may not be back for Atletico Madrid. Palhinha may not be back for Atletico Madrid. If they've been ruled out with concussion, which frankly both of them definitely suffered concussion in that clash of heads, they should not be playing at all against Atletico Madrid, and arguably shouldn't be playing against Nottingham Forest either. The problem is that Nottingham Forest game is so big for us now.
Well, it's 12 days, and that Nottingham Forest game would be kind of 12 days after 7,
right
8.
on the cusp.
Right on the cusp, exactly.
Yeah.
And we need all. It is kind of interesting that Danso and Dragishin, who does have his faults and was better in the second half, it is kind of interesting that. Oh, by the way, we ran the most, perhaps this season, which shows a couple of things. The players are still playing for this new manager, and they're playing for the badge as well, which is nice to see.
It also says that they've upped their work in terms of fitness in training, because he absolutely ravaged the previous management, saying that the players were just not fit enough physically or mentally, and they were not prepared to play top level football.
Wow. Great.
And
by the way,
now we're starting to just see the benefits maybe of this extra training they're doing.
Yeah, true.
Guys, can I just say, except for the 4 calamities, individual mistakes against Atletico Madrid, we played well against Atletico Madrid.
Yeah.
And this is just built on that. The only difference was there was no individual errors.
Dash, continue on, please. But what I was going to say was that also the game before with Van der Ven being sent off, so we weren't fucking up as much. And I think he mentioned that the last 2 games are kind of like, well, they're out of our hands, kind of. How can you plan for those types of things? You can't really, actually. So yeah, go ahead, Adesh. Sorry.
Yeah, and it's the same thing. I mean, but sometimes things take a bit of time to wade in, and maybe that's what's happening, because he's had a few days now, proper days of training, fitness-wise, where it would make a difference, and then also deciding how he wants to play. So then hopefully, we can hope this is not a false dawn, but it looks like we up for this. I think the big question was whether we'd be up for a real battle, and if they put up that sort of performance for the rest of the season, we'll stay up.
Yeah. Quickly touching on that Atletico Madrid game, we are going to have to talk about it. There was something like 11 slips from 11 players slipping over in that game. Danso did it, Dragishin did it, Van der Ven, their left back, our goalkeeper, obviously. That is a notoriously difficult pitch to play on. Apparently it's got a very, very thin soil layer, which causes more issues because it's yeah, it's not a great pitch. They're waiting to relay it because it's causing so many issues. And
You think so? I think they just
yeah,
watered our end once they knew which side we were defending.
no, because
And
previous
they probably
games this
did the same
season,
against Barca.
previous games this season, many players have been slipping over. And I mean, we saw Atletico Madrid players slipping over. It wasn't just us. So we saw their players slipping over as well. The thing is, they're used to playing on that pitch.
Yep.
And
And
we're
we
not.
said-
We're not. So that's what I
Yeah.
think made the difference. And it was a historically bad performance for the first 20 minutes. But that wasn't all down to the goalkeeper. I think the goalkeeper got very unlucky. And he's just a young lad. It was really difficult to watch.
Yeah, another thing I noticed. Remember, there's a lot of criticism Tudor took after that game because of the way he didn't react to any of the players as they're coming off, especially Kingsley.
Yeah.
And Spence actually went over and tapped him on the shoulder and shook his hand and so forth. Yesterday, I noticed Tudor coming out onto the pitch and talking and congratulating players. He helped Sarr back. He gave him a lift off the floor with his hand and shook his hand. So maybe someone's had a word and he's realised his error, and maybe he's getting closer to the team now. Hopefully,
I think
He was
I think
asked
it's
about
just a
it,
case of
actually.
him being focused. He was completely focused on the game, and he didn't
Yeah.
want that to be disrupted by players who no longer could have any input on the match.
Yeah.
Hey, what do you think?
No, he was asked about it. He was asked about it with Kinski, and he said, when I read his direct quotes, was that he, at that time, the player is so disappointed. You can also elicit an angry reaction that then adds to the problems. So he said that he let him go in, and then at halftime he gave him a big hug and told him it's okay. I read the quotes. I think it was in Ellie Gold had it. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I mean that sounds somewhat reasonable. I mean, I think to me it seemed a bad idea to throw him in against Atletico Madrid in such a big match on a pitch that is known to have problems. It didn't seem a great idea, and I'm surprised he survived it, a result like that, because it was of the level of that Bayern Munich game where we got absolutely thrashed. It was the performance in the first half was of that level. So
I think you
I'm
make
surprised he
points
survived it.
too.
Sorry?
It's not about the survival, even beyond that. It says to me that we didn't do our homework. And that's
Well,
more
yeah.
worrying.
Surprisingly,
about what
with our
studs to
board,
use or what we do better. Yeah. Not the board. I
our
mean, that's
board not making
preparation.
a well-considered decision. What a surprise! Who'd have thought that could possibly be true? Yes, and I'm not one to bash the board too often, but I mean they have made some very strange decisions recently. You know, starting potentially with bringing in Frank, and then certainly with holding on to him as long as they did. That was the biggest
total
mistake.
inaction in January, when it was
Yeah.
obvious we think players. Just even some older journeymen would have helped us
Absolutely.
over that period on a short
Yeah.
contract. You know.
So yeah, and we're kind of at the stage now where even if we lose against Atletico Madrid, which we probably will, if we were to lose against Nottingham Forest, there will absolutely be people baying for blood. But what happens to a side when they change managers multiple times during a season? Typically, they go down.
Like Nottingham Forest. Can I ask, just because we're playing on Wednesday, what? First of all, we don't know who's going to be available, so can't really guess. But what should be our approach? Should it be that the Forest game is the main one? And apparently Richie's suspended. I think one of the CADS said that. Mary said he's suspended. I don't know if you guys can verify that. So because I was thinking, shouldn't we rest Richie for the Forest game? So what should we be doing for Wednesday? Given that we don't know if guys like Cudi and Polina will be back even.
Go for it.
So
I don't think they're very good. Yeah, I don't think they're very good. I think we go for it. Because we've got a little bit of momentum. Whether we win the tie or not, we should try and win the game. And we try for performance. And it's at home. You get the crowd up. And the next time they come back in, they're even more pumped up. because they can see that there's an effort from the team. We need to build on this. We need to take momentum in, and throwing this game is not bringing momentum in. It takes us back. So for me, you go for it. Whoever you have, show intent. And I don't think Atletico are very good. I think we could do them. They're also a team that's like prone to, rash things, much like us.
Overactive and falling down. Theatrical.
Yeah, they fall down a lot. Shame.
It is a shame.
They are not the only ones.
They're pretty
I'm
bad.
sure we'll talk about that.
They're pretty bad.
Yeah. They're pretty bad at the end.
Yeah.
But anyway, I think we go and we make it really difficult for them, and you never know what could happen.
Good point. Yeah, but
Yeah. Marcel?
I think the thing is with this game coming up is we're 3 goals down. Now the chances are we're not going to win by 3 goals.
Right.
A 1-0 win will keep our momentum going. Forget it as a tie. We're not going to win the Champions League, but it's important we get a win of some sorts on Wednesday to keep the momentum going. It's also an opportunity to maybe even try 1 or 2 different things just to see how it goes.
Are you
So
giving
probably-
Igor Tudor license to experiment there, Marcel? Because you know he will take it.
Yeah, but again, it's not going to cost us our Premiership place, is it? It's the Champions League. He might try something that will come off that we can use further down in the season.
I like the idea of treating it as a one-off game and trying to win that one-off game, even if that result is not enough to take us through. And it's unlikely to be. Richarlison is suspended, by the way, so he will not be featuring in this match. Which might be just as well because he was knackered at the end of the last game. Apparently he was asking to be taken off, which is why he was substituted. Austin?
I have to say, I think that is the best game Richie has played for us. I thought he was superb all game. He worked his nuts off. He won balls in defence. He won balls in attack. He had chances. He had a shot with the outside of his right foot that their keeper saved. He should have had a penalty from that Dick Van Dijk.
Should have had a penalty.
I thought he was absolutely brilliant. And when you remember what he did for Everton in, was it 2001, 2002? He really sort of took on board I don't want us to get relegated. I thought his attitude yesterday was fantastic.
I agree. I think they have a nickname for him, Relegation Richie. I like it. Relegation Richie.
Relief from relegation Richie would be better, Ashley.
What's that?
Relief from relegation Richie would be better.
Relegation battler Richie, yeah.
Yeah.
I thought he was very good. He has had better games for us. Certainly, I think the best game I can remember him having was in the Europa League final last year, where he just battled all the way through, and he was so impressive. And there was a game just before that as well where he was similarly very, very good. So yeah, but in terms of dangerous up front, he had a couple of chances. Would have been nice to see him put those away before he finally got one.
I thought he should have made at least the header before that.
Yeah. He had about 6 chances on maybe his Brazilian teammate might have made 3 saves actually.
He had 4 chances, 3 on target, and the one that wasn't on target was where Van Dijk was putting a little bit of pressure on his shoulder and forcing him down. Which, again, I mean, Crystal Palace, our own Dutchman does something stupid and the penalty gets given against us and he's sent off. And now we go to play a team who's playing in red and he does something very, very similar and absolutely nothing. Just,
It wasn't very similar, Stuart. It was worse.
Potentially worse, yeah.
No,
I mean, I would say Van der Ven's was worse because he obviously pulled back on his arm, right?
Yeah, Van der Ven's was a lot worse.
Pulled back on his arm. Yeah. Van Dijk was at least closer to him.
I didn't think it was a penalty by the rules of the law, but based on how it was ref this season, it should have been given for every other. Like, I wouldn't want to see that as a penalty every game. And I don't think it should be. But based on the rod that they made for their own backs, that should be a penalty.
Well,
So
the previous
yeah.
chief of the PGMOL, Keith Hackett, disagrees with you. He says that is
He
a
says
penalty
penalty.
every single day of the week. So
They
yeah,
said
he was the head referee
And
of the league.
well, that's what I'm saying, right? For me, I don't think it's a penalty, but the way they've reffed it every other game, it is a penalty. It
If
should
it
have
had
been
been
given.
Romero doing that, is there anyone here who doesn't think that would have been a penalty if it had been Romero doing that
Oh, it would have been a
to?
penalty and
And
they're
the red
sending off
card.
all day long.
for
Would have
sure.
been a penalty and red card, right?
Absolutely.
Virgil van Dijk's kind of untouchable. I mean, in the last couple of years, he has raked his studs down the back of one of our players' legs. He's gone through on another one, and now he's effectively fouled someone in the box, and absolutely nothing has been done on each and every occasion.
We
And
also
almost
had
nothing has been said about it in press. So
we
The
also had
referee's
Oliver
refereeing was
kicked in the head
disgraceful.
in the penalty area and nothing was given.
Yeah, that was Jota.
that was yeah.
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 I don't think we're allowed to talk
in-
negatively about Jota.
No, we can. I'm giving you permission.
Okay.
The thing is also it's like that was not a foul for free kick. That was a
Oh no, it
blatant
certainly was
dive.
not.
Yeah.
No, McAllister went through, saw a leg came out, and then just
And
decided
he had
he'd
nowhere
fall
to go
over,
and
even
then-
though Archie Gray had pulled his leg back. He pulled his foot back to avoid any contact.
Yeah, but you
Oh,
missed it
man.
on the other side. Souza put his foot in, and you can see it.
Didn't
Yes.
make contact though.
He did make contact, but he did go over very easily. Yeah, they showed it over here, and I said no. Gray pulled out, and I didn't see the other side, and then they showed another angle, and he did. Yes, he played.
He literally pulled the leg that would have contacted with Gray away to make sure he fell down. I mean, it was a blatant dive. And this brings me back to my thing about VAR. VAR is so useless. Previously, referees would make a decision on the pitch and they would not have someone in a back room somewhere looking and saying, yes, that's the right decision or that's a wrong decision. And now, because there was a load of complaints where decisions were being overturned, not the ultimatum, the word from on high down to the VAR guys is you only call it back if it is a blatant error by the referee. In other words, he should have seen it but didn't see it. And so things like he saw it but he made the wrong decision doesn't matter. It doesn't matter anymore.
Yeah.
Mm.
The
So,
thing is,
VAR is useless.
It is.
I've said it before. They're using it in the wrong way.
Yeah.
I mean, in rugby, for example, it's used as an extra tool in the referee's armory. He can call upon the TMO to have a look at it at any time he wants. So the referee, they could have said, "Okay, I saw it from one angle. Could you just double check it was actually a foul?" And they've gone up, but they don't do that. They're not using it. It's used as almost a stick to beat the referee around the head. And a fellow referee running VAR is not going to do that to one of his colleagues. Ridiculous.
No, and they've been told there are certain situations where they need to basically defer to the on-field decision. So things like that, things like pushes in the box, the referee thinks that's what he saw. Okay, we'll go with that. Regardless of whether or not it's the right decision, it's clearly the wrong decision. But at the end of the day, let's not upset the boat. And it needs to be used like the rugby, where there is a partnership, there's a team, and they say, right, I'm unsure, or is there any reason why I shouldn't be giving this? And you need to be clear and open and transparent and honest, and you need to make sure that the right decision is being made. And far too often, we're seeing a decision made going one way one week against us, and then the following week, pretty much exactly the same thing, or worse happens, and nothing gets done about it.
Yeah,
we've had pushes in the box twice this season where our player's been pushed and no foul was called. And when we've had one time our player pushed and the foul was called and the goals were called out. I mean, that just makes no sense to me.
Yeah. But
again,
saying
trying
that,
to find
Vic should have saved it, right? Anybody else?
he should have.
Full hand to it. Yeah.
Yeah, it looked like he slightly missed it because he just got like a finger and thumb to it instead of the full hand.
No, full hand. Looked like a full hand to me.
I don't know. But he did make up for it later with the save from Gakpo, which was going in. and that was a hell of
Yeah,
a
it was a
save.
top save. The
So
one
I
under
mean,
the
he
post,
comes out par right for me on that one. But yeah, at the end of the day, I'm happy with the result. I'm happy with the performance. We had a stronger team last year that went to Anfield and got absolutely tonked. And this year we had a fairly weak team in terms of available players. We had a new manager, or still an interim manager who's still effectively getting his feet under the table. And we came away with a good performance and a good result, and something that we can take into the next round of matches. Austin.
I think we need to mention some of the positives from the game.
We do.
I
Are
think,
we naming names?
yes. I think Archie
Go on,
Gray
then.
had an excellent game.
I knew you were going to say that.
Every week he says it.
I know I do. I know I'm boring. But he reminds me, in terms of how he plays, of a young Michael Carrick. Because I watched him particularly today. His movement, his anticipation of where the ball's going is very, very good. And he's waving at people saying, go there, mark him. And he's actually commanding. But it wasn't just him. I thought Souza was very good. I thought that shot that Souza hit, that their keeper saved, was absolutely fantastic. I thought Tell was absolutely excellent. He attacked at every opportunity. And I thought Jed Spence did a really good job at left back. And Sarr covered so much ground. He won tackles. I thought there were lots of very good performances, particularly from the younger players. Oh, and Danzo. Danzo was like a rock.
Danzo, he was, but he did a couple of times he really messed up. There were a couple of things he did. You go, oh, what are you doing? But I mean, Sarr ran so far. He was unbelievable. I mean, did you see him at the end of the match? He collapsed to the floor. He was just completely knackered. Gray was excellent. Gray was really, really good. The partnership between Dragusin and Danso looks like it's coming along. Obviously, could do with more work, a little bit more time together, and they're probably going to get more time together. So we probably need to talk about Van der Ven as well. But I mean, you've just been through a list of players who you think did well, but you didn't mention Richarlison, who I think we all.
Well, I've already mentioned
a little bit.
Richarlison.
Yeah, you did.
And I could mention Porro, who I thought worked really, really hard.
Porro did well, yeah. So I mean, I thought Richarlison epitomizes exactly what we need. I think we need to have battlers, we need to have fighters, we need to have people who have the desire to go out and win a match. Maybe they're not as technically good as some of the other players, but I'd rather have them in the side. I'd rather have a less technically good Sarr than Bissouma, who's injured anyway. I mean, Bissouma on his day can be absolutely brilliant, but I just don't think he's got the fight in him for
he
this
had a day about 3 years ago. He was very good.
Yeah.
But Stu, also, we all haven't mentioned him, is Xavi. Sarr and Gray are playing in front of Xavi, and that's great because Tudor has obviously seen or not seen something in him that he's not starting him.
But when Xavi came on, he looked very good.
Well, yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
I think he'll do it all the time, like obviously he's not doing it enough for him to start.
I think it's about the players around him. I don't know how many times. I think it's about the players around. When you've got intelligent players around him who's able to pick up on what he's going to do and have those kind of moves, But Gray has often been positioned away from him. Tell's been a substitute and, hasn't come on till late in the game. And those three players tend to link up quite well. The best stuff we saw from Xavi yesterday was when Tell was given the ball when Gray was given the ball, or previously in other games we've seen him and Tell link up very, very nicely together. If you've just got one player running forward and there's no one to pass to, which is what we've seen from Xavi for much of the season, then his pass is likely to go off script, shall we say, because there is nobody in a good position to get the ball to. Austin.
I think even when he came on, though, he looked like the weakest of
fitted right in when he came on. He played as if he'd been there all his life. It was a short time, but he looks like a player.
He does.
Yeah. Xavi was still the weakest of our players when he came on. I do agree with you that he needs better players around him, but he looked uncomfortable on the ball, and
he gives it away.
He looked half a step off, but that's because I think he just needs time. He's getting used to it. The talent is there to be seen. I don't think he's ready yet. I don't think he's physically ready yet. And I think he's put in a lot of hard work and he will get there. But it kind of shows. I think if we stay up and strengthen, you'll see a different team with him in it next season. Matthias Tel, I love the fight, the endeavor. I like that he puts a cross in. He's very good at the crossing, whether it's dead ball or in play. He puts some dangerous balls in. And when you got Richarlison and Solanke up front, that gives you a chance. He can cause chaos. He still lacks composure sometimes, makes some wrong decisions, but you're going to get that with all of our young players. Thought Archie had a great game. Sarr was my man of the match. I like Danso. He's got so much heart, and Dragusin didn't have the best passing game, but 90+ minute block Dragusin, he put himself about. I was going to bring something up that I think Stu wanted to touch on as well with Mickey. You can have all the talent in the world. If you don't have the right mentality, you won't go too far. And I think he believes his own hype now. That's how I feel about him. I feel like he believes his own hype. And I think you got to reward the players who are showing up for you. And to me, Denzel is showing up and he has to play. And one of Romero or Van de Ven, if they're playing at 2, has to sit out. If they play at 3, it's not a problem. But I think it's a good signal for the squad as well. Everybody has a chance. Have you seen the interview with Roswell and Olusezi? They mentioned that we feel like we have a chance now. They said that specifically. We feel like if we perform, we have a chance. And it can't just be for the academy players. It's got to be for everybody. And if you just draw it back, Mickey's been shocking. Mentally, actual errors, but the sending off and poor decisions and just moping around the place. We don't need that when we are,
I agree. Yeah.
When we try and build momentum. I'd actually sell him in the summer while his contract says he's not extending. It's probably 3rd year. It's the best time to sell him. He can go and look good when things are going well somewhere. And they'll learn about the real Mickey Van de Ven when things are tough. I wanted him gone from the Spence incident. I was serious right then. That's not what we want to see. And I think that was one of the biggest downfalls of Frank. They didn't respect Frank, and it started there.
So for me, there's something similar in the way that Mickey Van de Ven has dropped off to the way that Jan Vertonghen dropped off. And Jan Vertonghen's was apparently down to a concussion that he picked up. And I just wonder whether there's something, is there an injury he's carrying? Has he had a knock that we're not aware of that's just got him out of form? Because he just seems to have dropped off so badly over the last couple of months. And he does not look like the same player he was earlier in the season, or certainly the same player he was last year. So I wouldn't be quick to write him off because I'd like to see him given a chance to fully recover and get back, if that is what the problem is. If, as some people are saying, he's starting to believe his own hype and he wants to move elsewhere, okay, then we're going to have to move him on. But we need to make sure that whoever buys him pays top dollar for him because he's worth a lot of money. He's a stupidly good player. Marcel.
And if it is kind of more psychological than physiological, then let's hope this new wave of enthusiasm amongst the youngsters as well, but in the team, as we've just seen in the last 2 games, is enough to pull him back into the team and get his head back into the right space. Get the old group pulling him back in. Maybe we've turned a corner there, and he's the sort of player that has to be on the up. You see what I mean? And when it's going wrong, he just more depressed. It could be that. Let's hope now we've turned a corner and he's going to get dragged along with the enthusiasm.
Actually, that's something that I thought, Marcel, when I watched the game. It felt like we'd turned a corner. It just felt like things had gone from we're going to lose, we're going to lose, we're going to lose, we're going to lose to we've got a chance. And yesterday we had so many chances. I mean, I knew the result when I watched the game this morning. So that sort of masks a lot. But I watched the game this morning and I thought, my God, we could have, we could have scored 2 in the first half at least.
Richie had 2 chances off crosses from Tell, 2 headers. What you were talking about, Austin. Yeah,
and
right there.
Souza had 2 chances. He was just short of meeting a cross, and then he hit that screamer of a drive. That was a hell of a shot.
Yeah, I said that before you came on, Oz. I said that was almost like a Roberto Carlos from 40 yards out. I mean, that's a Brazilian taking a shot, Brilliant.
Yeah, very much so.
And
I thought Richie's shot with the outside of his foot was absolutely brilliant as well.
Who's that?
Yeah.
Richie's shot with the outside of his foot that the keeper saved. I thought that was superb.
That was when Van Dijk was all over him, right?
Yeah.
The one thing is that it's not just this one game where we turned it around. It was after half time against Atletico. That second half, we actually won 2-1.
Yeah.
And away from home on that bad, dodgy pitch. The turnaround actually started at half time there, I think. So I'm glad to see that we took it on and carried on this weekend.
I've been saying for a long time, this is a squad that has quality players in it. It's not the strongest squad we've had, and it's nowhere near as good as the squad that made the Champions League final. But you can't look at this squad and say this is a group of bad players. It is a group of players who have not been fully fit, are injured, have been played out of position, lack confidence, lack cohesion. Yes, you can say all of those things, but can you genuinely look at a lot of these players and go, yes, that's a bad player? No. Vicario last year had the highest, had the best shots denied or saves, saves to goals denied ratio in the league. He was ahead of Raya. He was ahead of everybody. He was, he was behind a solid defence and he was making good saves. This year, our defence is porous, and he looks not so good because of it. I've said before, you can have a poor goalkeeper behind a good back line, and you can have a good goalkeeper behind a bad back line, and sometimes you've just got a poor goalkeeper behind a poor back line. Which one is he? I think he's a good goalkeeper going through a bad run of form behind a defence that just does not stop letting people run through. Oh, we have a late joiner.
Just to add what you just said, Stu, let's not forget those 8 games in the Champions League table. He had 4 or 5
Charlie
clean sheets. Vicario clean sheets, and they had some award for the best goalie in those first 8 games or something like that. So he still has been producing, not all the time, but he certainly did in the Champions League.
I'm pretty sure Marcel would agree with me. He was the only one that kept us in the game against Monaco.
Yeah.
He was absolutely inspired in that game. It was a brick wall.
You guys were there, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, Charlie.
Hi, Charlie. How you doing?
How are you guys? All right?
Yeah. We've done a lot of talking. We've done a lot of talking about the Liverpool game and a little bit about the Atletico game. What do you think? What have you been thinking?
Well, I've never. I mean, honestly, it's a turnaround, to be honest. Because
you just said that, yeah.
Yeah, I think. I mean, it feels that way, and I think everybody's on the same. I mean, I just think we all just needed to see a glimmer of fight, and we know we'd be okay. Maybe 4 or 5 people coming back from injuries, and I think we feel 1,000 times better. I mean, I certainly do. I mean, I can't believe I'm saying that after a draw, but it is Anfield. We haven't got a great record there, and it is a point that I never saw coming, to be honest. And it gives me hope. I hate that word, but I am going to say it. It gives me hope that we
Charlie,
will.
I've known you for about a year. I think that's the first time I've seen you smile.
Absolutely not true. Maybe not that big a smile, but
a genuine one. Yeah, definitely. I mean, what do you guys think? I mean, not to go back through everything, but what's the consensus on Tudor?
We were all seeing a turnaround. Austin was just saying it. Marcel was definitely saying, and
I mean, it's crumbs, isn't it? It's absolute scraps, but it's something that we have not seen in so long.
Well, we were trying
we
to
were
pick
saying
out
that
when the
we
last
saw
good
it
league
in the,
performance was.
Yeah, let me just quickly, since you're here, because I think Austin or Marcel said it. I screamed out loud when we scored. Well, what was the other reactions when we scored?
Relief.
Marcel,
Yeah, I said I frightened the missus.
Someone said this on, I can't remember what it was. I think it was on, maybe it was on Last Word on Spurs, but it was the first time they've genuinely celebrated a Spurs goal in months and months and months. Like,
Months.
yeah, since the start of the season.
Yeah.
Genuinely
Yeah.
celebrated it with joy.
I'll tell you, the one thing that really stood out for me is we were making chances from open play. It's been a long time since we've regularly made chances from open play in a game.
Yes.
Not having to rely on free kicks and corners. But in terms of players that are coming back, Christian Romero due back potentially against Atletico. Palhinha against Atletico. Destiny Udogie potentially against Atletico. How we could do him back, honestly. Beraval is apparently ahead of schedule. He may make the Nottingham Forest game. It's unlikely. May make Nottingham Forest game. It could be a little bit later. Kudus, Sunderland. So that's not too far off. Bentancur is going to be May, and we'll probably we won't see Odebear again this season. We may never see Maddison or Kulusevski ever again in a Spurs shirt. And Conor Gallagher, he should be back for the next game. But do we want him in the squad or in the starting 11? Poor lad.
Ollie, we might have got rid of Maddison.
There's a good player in Conor Gallagher. We've
There
seen
is.
it before. But we're not using him right. Do we have a slot for him? I mean, to be honest, it was a strange swap for Johnson, wasn't it?
Yeah.
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 Well,
He would play.
in terms
He would
of
play in the Sarr role, in my opinion. But Sarr, I think, is probably better.
Yeah.
oh, that's big. It would be all right if Sarr was better than Gallagher because Conor Gallagher's an England international's done very well with other clubs. But he played 10 at Crystal Palace, played 8 at Chelsea, where maybe a bit of a deeper role. Does anybody think we might have bought him for Pochettino? Is there any chance that because Pochettino loves him?
Yeah, because he was captain, wasn't he, when he was at Chelsea? Can I ask a question? What does everyone think happened yesterday that was different? 'Cause I watched the second half, and I can't quite put my finger on it, because there's no way that against an at Anfield that you should really be given that kind of leash to actually go and to give yourself. I was listening to it on TalkSport, and they were saying Spurs are coming into this. They're really growing in confidence. I mean, do you think it is down to Tudor, or do you think it's down to? What is it down to? Like, what gave us that? What gave us that? Leash to go off and score a goal, in the last minute.
I think psychology was the big thing, because the further the game went on and they didn't score a second goal, the more we got belief that we could score, and we did have chances. And Liverpool became more and more afraid that we might score. So I think the just psychological balance of the game shifted as the second half went on.
Yeah, I heard that our crowd was just immense as well. Our away support was just absolutely.
They were noisy all game, Charlie.
Yeah, just right on it. And then if you turn the Anfield crowd against you, I mean, it can work against Liverpool like it's been working against us for so long.
Yeah, building on what you were saying there, Austin. The psychology, I agree with that. However, as I said a little bit earlier before Charlie came on, it really turned around at half time in Madrid. Something happened at half time, because that second half we came out a different team, and then we took that forward to Anfield. So actually it started before Anfield.
It's tough because sorry, go on.
Yeah, I think the manager takes a beating when we do badly. It's got to get some props when we do well. That's right.
Sorry to come in with just unloading everyone here. Did you hear how badly he got treated by the Sky Sports interviewer?
Not just Sky Sports. Sky Sports talk sport, everybody.
But I like that he gives it back. He didn't take it lying down. He gave it a bit back. Is
could be
that all you can
yeah.
ask about?
He could be a hero, that guy, an absolute hero, Tudor, if he keeps this up. I don't know what he's done in the past, like you're saying, Marcel, since the halftime in the Atletico game, but if we can somehow just keep that going, I feel like, Archie Gray is sort of in the middle of it somehow. And, the fact that Romero and Van de Ven aren't in there whining is probably actually helping us out. We've got all these second string players who have suddenly got, suddenly, Ashley's laughing, suddenly just like got the bit between their teeth. They're like, we can actually,
We don't need them.
Yeah, I
Mm.
mean, yeah.
No, Charlie, you missed us. We were talking about Van der Ven, and somebody might have called him Van der Sulk, and we were talking about that. It's an interesting point, really. Whining and think they're bigger than what's big Billy Big
Billy
Shoes?
Big Bollocks.
Yeah, that's him.
Big
That's a
boots,
guy.
yeah.
That's a guy. Yeah, right. Yeah.
I mean, we
So-
have seen in the past where players have been out, starting defense has been out injured, and the guys that come in do a job that's much simpler, not quite as engaged, not asked to pass the ball into midfield or bring the ball out and things like that. This is at other clubs, not particularly at Spurs, and then they've gone on to have a much better defensive record. So potentially playing with less technically capable players, not playing with Romero, not playing with Van de Ven, but instead of playing with Dragusin and Danso, just not asking them to do so much, just concentrate on defending might actually work.
It could also be that he's just had more time. It's taken time. It's taken a few weeks with the players to get the Frank out of them.
Get the Frank off the team. Yeah.
I got to ask as well. I got into like a real sort of psychosis about what was going on at Spurs. I'm sure everybody has as well. Just in terms of like, a lot of these players have been a little bit held to ransom on these long contracts. And, obviously when Daniel Levy was there, he wasn't willing to sell people for less than what he thought they were worth. And so taking people down to the Championship actually solves that issue for a lot of these people if they were trying to get out of contract. Did you get the sense that any of, there was like some players who were just like literally torpedoing the club, taking us down so they knew they'd get, do you think that was an actual thing? Do you think that really exists in football as a psychology? And do you think that was the poison that's been poisoning us for so long? That now is not there.
I don't think anybody wants that on their resume. Take Spurs down,
There was a report in The Athletic, an unnamed source from the dressing room, that said that a senior player had said, I'm not really bothered whether this club goes down because I'm not going to be here next year anyway.
Yeah,
he
probably
apparently said he's off to Barca.
That was probably Basuma, yeah.
No, it was Van de Ven.
Well, it was not named, but yeah, it could have been Van de Ven. I think it's likely to be Basuma because he's out of contract and his time is up.
Yeah.
So yeah.
But it could fly. Just
one thing that I'm interested in hearing people's thoughts about is about what Vinai came out with, standing there now, blaming Daniel Levy for putting us in the position we're in, saying that we need to invest in players, but we can't buy any because Levy's left the club in such a bad situation. Now, as far as financial fair play goes, I believe we're in a very strong position. And I've spoken about this with the person who prefers to be known as Edmonton. And he said to me, and he knows the club inside out. And he said to me, we're in a very strong position. Levy's left us in a very good position, regards as we could spend about 400 million on players and still not fall foul of it. So Vinai is not making much sense there. And attacking the previous bloke that was there, that's not good. Vinai is a square peg in a round hole, or the other way around.
Yeah.
He got up the slippery, greasy pole at Arsenal from the ground upwards. Now he's being slotted in at a certain level. That's not what he does. He climbs the greasy pole. He doesn't come in at that level. He's in the wrong position. And him and Langer, I'm not sure what they're doing at the club. Anyway,
I was talking with Tim F about this earlier in the week. We had a quick chat, which you can find on Spotify, everybody. And I said, basically, we've got a commercial guy in charge of running the football side of our club. Vinai Venkatesham is a guy who did brilliant job at Arsenal building the commercial side of the business.
Yeah.
Right. Edu was the guy who was in charge of bringing in players and things like that. And he's been brought over, and I think he was brought over to do the commercial side, and he's taken over the football side of things as well because Levy has gone. But I also found a parallel in Russian politics, and forgive me, I'm just going to read this out to you. So this is from David Cooper on Medium. It says, when Nikita Khrushchev was forced out as leader of the Soviet Union, he sat down and wrote 2 letters to his successor, Leonid Brezhnev. He said, when you get yourself into a situation you can't get out of, open the first letter and you'll be safe. When you get yourself into another situation you can't get out of, open the second letter. Brezhnev soon found himself in a difficult situation, so he opened the first letter. It said, blame everything on me. So he blamed Khrushchev for everything and it worked. Eventually he got himself into a difficult second situation, and so he sat down, he opened the second letter. Inside it said, sit down and write 2 letters. Now I think Vinai Venkatesham has opened the first letter from Daniel Levy and it said, blame me, and that's exactly what he's done.
Oh my God. Brilliant.
He's not going to share a bottle of wine, then, eh?
I'm sure they will. They'll be fine. They're probably good mates, and it's all business. It's all posturing and pandering, isn't it? And the reality is, we're not going to know. They can't do anything now. They cannot do anything unless they're going to sack Tudor and bring in some marvelous masterstroke of a coach. Realistically, if they were to sack Tudor, I think I'd have expectations they'd screw it up further instead of make things better. So it's tough. And I think Igor Tudor has been very, very badly treated by the likes of Sky Sports and Talk Sport and people like that. And, you know, we've had the usual suspects go on radio or TV or whatever and saying, oh, why did you bring in a guy who has no history in the Premier League, has no understanding of what it takes to fight relegation? They've not even looked at his record because he has fought relegation at 3 separate clubs and kept the sides up on each occasion. Austin.
Did anyone see the fact that Harry Redknapp said this week that Daniel Levy had phoned him and said, if I was still in charge, I'd have appointed you by now?
Yeah, spoken to him for the second time since leaving the club.
Yes.
Are you saying that Harry Redknapp was not talking completely true?
No, I'm not. It's just I'm just throwing it in there with no sort of intent whatsoever.
People tend to forget that after everything we did for Harry, standing behind him, he was ready to burn us off for England at the drop of a hat. That guy is as slippery as an eel, and he shouldn't be trusted. He did good stuff for us a little bit.
He is one of the few Spurs managers who has not been sacked, though. He was not sacked. He just came to the end of his contract. But yeah, I mean, the stuff I've seen this week, Gustavo Poyet saying, oh yeah, I should come back in and I'll do it. Tim, I'm trying not to sweat. Tim Sherwood saying, you know, I would be up for it if they gave me a call. And everybody's talking about Robbie Keane. Robbie Keane, who's in a comfortable job, who's doing well where he is. He's not going to leave us for 2 months. That's crazy talk. Not going to happen. So people just get used to having Igor Tudor at the club, unless you want to roll the dice on bringing somebody else in who could potentially be worse. Dear me. How's everybody feeling about the next commentary?
Austin's got his hand up over there. That was the rules.
Go on, Austin.
It was just a quickie. I was wondering, let's assume we stay up, which I think we will.
Okay.
Who would we want to take over in the new season? And you've just mentioned Robbie Keane. I actually have a sneaking feeling I wouldn't mind giving Robbie Keane a long-term contract. I'd rather him than Poch, because I don't want to bring Poch back.
Robbie Keane's done well where he's been, but he has not played. He's not managed anywhere that's got the kind of pressure that the Premier League brings to it. I mean, he'd had less managerial experience and less experience of pressurized situations than Ange Postecoglou did, and you saw the stick that he got. So not for me. I know who I want in. It's probably not going to happen. It will probably be Pochettino, and I'm okay with that. The big thing for me is who the next director of football or sporting director is going to be. That's going to determine where our future lies. how do things work out? How do things go? It's very much down to who that guy is, or guys, because will Johan Langer stay for another season? So that's for me. Anybody else got thoughts on that?
I can't think that far. I'm just
just want survival.
I just want to survive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Actually,
we'll see after that.
Tudor has some pretty philosophical things that he talks about, you know, when he was talking about Ali Gold had asked him, and he goes, the future is just imagination. All there is today, or after today, there's tomorrow. And he's kind of right. The next thing is that Atletico. And even if you say it doesn't matter compared to Forest, well, we have to manage the squad, and that could help us go into Forest. So yes, I like his attitude. He's not as shifty as the last guy was, you know, layers and free floating and things like that, you know. And he's also the type of guy that you wouldn't want to meet in a back alley, because I think he would punch the living daylights out of you.
For no reason.
Yeah. The post-match interview where the guy was trying to push him. You said this. Anyway, that's not what I said. No, you said this. It's like, that's not what I said. Like,
I know.
Shit,
So
that
good.
guy being serious. That guy's serious. It was like almost jabbing him in the chest with what he was saying.
I hate that
Wow.
guy. He is such a provocative little fucker, isn't he? That Sky Sports dude. He just gets
Exactly
right up.
that.
He just writes up people, just winds people
Mm.
right up. Gets right in there with the annoying questions.
Well, no, but you know, just going on what I said about I like him in his press conference and what Charlie just said. You know, I don't know if it's going to happen, but he really does have a shot at being a hero, and regardless of what happens after being a hero, that he maybe being a hero right now, maybe it has turned around from the second half onwards. We'll know on Wednesday.
Can you imagine last game of the season, he keeps us up. This guy has to interview him and Igor just headbutts him live on stage. It's his last game anyway.
Like Zidane in a chest.
Pull the statue.
We need to be safe before the last game of the season. I think we've got some great players. We've got a lot of young players coming through. But if we go down, if our future goes down to the last game of the season, I will be severely worrying, because I'm not sure our players have got the mental fortitude for that.
Do you think he's got the balls not to play like a Van der Ven? Because Van der Ven almost got sent off against Atletico. I mean, that
should have been sent off.
Yeah, I mean, I just think people getting sent off for nothing these days. I've seen some sendings off. I mean, even Van Dijk yesterday should have got sent off for hauling down Richarlison in the spirit of, you know, Crystal Palace versus Spurs. That should have been a sending off. I just feel like, I don't know what, I just feel like Mickey Van der Ven and Romero at this point. I mean, I've never thought this. Like, I'm a massive Romero fan. Obviously, Mickey Van der Ven is quality, but there is part of me that just thinks one of those two they're just looking to potentially not be part of the sinking ship. You know, when it comes to it, not play their part in this. They're I don't know what it is. It just seems to they seem to have both decide. It was almost like last year when Romero barely played in the Premier League before, you know, the cup competition, and so I just really question. I can't understand how he signed a contract. Not to go off on a Romero tangent here, but do you think that Tudor would play Kevin Danso, who I think should play anyway, above?
You said that before you came on,
above, yeah. Do you think he will play when he's got 3 fit or 3 non-suspended centre backs? That he would play Romero, Danso, and Van der Ven? Or do you think, because it was more like a 4-4-2 yesterday, wasn't it?
It was 4-4-2, yes.
Yeah. Do you think he would do? Do you think he'd do that?
Well, Stu said that. Stu said
Yeah,
at the
that was
beginning.
me.
Yeah,
I had the exact same
Danso
question.
deserves to be there. Yeah.
I think so. But Danso's also been, you know, he got injured against Atletico Madrid. He was obviously not feeling great against Liverpool, so he's carrying some kind of knock. He needs some time out to recover from that as well. My concern is, having seen an uptick playing 4-4-2 in our last game, are we going to go back to 3 at the back with Van der Ven and Romero back in the side? I mean,
yeah, but our next game is not Liverpool. It's Forest,
the next
right?
league game. The one that we really care about is Forest.
So I
At
would
home.
hope that he doesn't just stick to the formation because of one game, but
Yeah.
that he applies himself to see what's best for the team against that opposition.
I hope that we are safe after the time we played our next 4 league games. Because our next 4 league games are Nottingham Forest, Sunderland, Brighton, and Wolves.
Yeah.
And I think every single one of those is winnable. And I said it.
Um,
I said it earlier in the week.
I didn't
Every
think
single
that.
game, every single game gives us a chance to turn around this poor run of form. And I think we started it in that second half of Atletico Madrid. I think we carried it on with the performance against Liverpool. Now we need to start winning games. We absolutely need to start winning games at home. And our
when
next
do we
game at
play
home,
Leeds?
Leeds, that's really close to the end of the season, I think. It's the 9th of May.
Okay.
So
I think our last
we're
two
into the final run here, ladies and boys.
I
Eight
think
games.
2 more wins will do it for us.
Oh, that'd be too tight. We need 3.
It's
Sorry,
not comfortable enough. Need
What
at least
What about 9 draws? How's that?
That'll
That
do
would
it.
be good from 8 games. That would be really impressive.
I
we
think
can get 9 draws from 8 games.
I think Austin's onto something, but it depends which games. Like if you beat Forest and Leeds, that's 2 6-pointers.
Mm-hmm.
So he
Yeah.
might be something 2 wins and a couple of draws, but it does depend on which games it is, and I think it's going to come down to you needing 3.
I think it would give us the impetus, to actually finish the season safely. Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me if we didn't finish mid-table if we got a couple of wins in the next 2 or 3 games.
That is ambitious. So we're currently on 30 points, and mid-table, Fulham's at 41 and they're in 11th. So yeah, mid-table, bang on mid-table is 41 points. I don't think we're picking up 11 points the rest of the season.
No, probably
That
not.
would be-
Fair comment.
That would be a lot to ask.
But I'll be honest with you
Oh.
guys. I think we've got a chance against Atletico, and I don't mean just to win the game.
Oh,
I've got-
that would be lovely.
I've
But
got a feeling.
do we want it? If we were to
Yes.
somehow turn it around,
Yes, we want it.
Yes,
yeah.
we want
Yes.
that, dude.
You,
Yeah,
I know
absolutely.
you guys want Champions League football again next season by winning the Champions League. That's what's in your head right now. Oh, dearie me. God, can you imagine?
There was a moment there where I thought the only way that we were going to kickstart the season was by dropping into the bottom 3. I just thought, I mean, that was the only way that I could see us somehow. I didn't really sort of detect. I thought that the Atletico Madrid obviously took the foot off the gas a little bit in the second half, which invited us on a little bit. But and we only drew that second half. But yeah, I don't know. I thought
1-2-1.
We won 2-1.
what, the second half?
Yeah, they were up 4-0.
Thought we did, yeah.
4-1.
Yeah, it was 1-1 second half, wasn't it? I don't know. Anyway, whatever. But yeah, I felt that the only way that anything was going to happen was by dropping into that bottom 3 and really putting the willies up some of these people. So, it's just so good to see that we've got that there's I don't know who it is. There's a Sarr had an absolute. I saw Sarr was amazing yesterday. He just decided to suddenly, become Sarr man. And there's just some players in that team who are kitted out to scrap and to really, and I really hope that Tudor sees that and picks teams on merit in the next little bit, because I think there will be a collective that forms within those 14 fit players that really, really want this, and it will marginalize people who don't want it,
Right.
to be honest.
No, so you're essentially just maybe suggesting Xavi or Van de Ven or even Romero, if those guys don't want it, is Tudor strong enough to actually leave them out?
I thought Xavi was all right when he came on yesterday. Like, he seemed like he had it.
Yeah, but he hasn't been starting, so there must be a reason why he hasn't been starting.
That's
Tudor
true.
hasn't seen enough of it.
Yeah, maybe a little bit luxurious of a player. I love that he's playing Solanke and Richarlison up front. I just think there's just two, quality proven Premier League strikers up front. And I think Tell is just waiting to explode. I just think he's such a promising player.
Yeah.
It's a shame about
Yeah.
Odegaard and everything, but you know, I think Tell really has a great mentality. He's got great skill. He's just and he never stops. He doesn't sulk. He's just a really, really good player to have on your team. So yeah.
So there we go. I think we're all feeling a lot better. We're just feeling better than what we've seen for much of the season. Wouldn't it have been nice if this decision had been made, I don't know, 2 months, 3 months earlier, and we'd have had more of a chance to have this kind of thing? What do you reckon, Marcel?
Just, I stand corrected. It was 1-1 in the second
It was
half.
1-0. Yeah, I looked it up. 1-0 in the second half.
However, from the midway,
I'm having a great pod.
midway in the first half,
Not bad for 20 minutes.
Good
Substitute,
substitution.
right off the bench.
Right off.
from midpoint in the first half, we did
Yeah.
win 2-1.
There you go.
Yeah.
So if you go from the halfway point of the first half onward for the rest of the game, we won 2-1. If you take some arbitrary point of... But yes, our super sub has come on and done very well this evening. Thank you, Charlie, for joining us. Thank you, Ash. Thank you, Marcel. Thank you, Austin. Thank you, A. And gents, we'll be back after the Nottingham Forest game. Join us on Monday, the 23rd of March for the next show. I hope you all have a great time. I hope you all really enjoy yourselves against Atletico Forest. Absolutely buzzing for that Nottingham Forest game. 3 points. Let's get going. Come on, everybody. Come on, you Spurs.
Come on, you Spurs.
Nice to see everybody.
Gather round, lads, it's time for a cheer. We've got opinions to share, raise your part, never fear. From the stands to the pub, we're ready to spit. In the world of football, it's the CADS chat shit. Oh, he was in form just last week, but now he's a flop, so unique. Spurs gonna win it, that's what we decree. Never mind facts, it's our fantasy. Our strikers are legends, we'll score a whole bunch. Forget all the stats, we'll just take the punch. With every wild take, we raise up our glass, while pundits just chuckle, ignore them alas. The CADS chat shit. To the left and the right, we're taking a hit, so you know it's true. Hear the banter ignite, raise your voice loud, shout it out tonight. The CADS chat shit, we'll sing it again with a smile and a grin. Oh, here's to the boys, let's make it a trend. With a wink and a nudge, let the fun never end. Last week we claimed it'll be 5-0 for sure. Now we're debating if we'll score at the door. Did you see that last miss? What a fiery debate. As we pull up our chairs and we narrow our fates. Hot takes flying high, we're the kings of the pub. While the lads on the pitch just need a good rub. From the top of the table right back to the ground, you'll hear us all chatting that familiar sound. The CADS chat shit. To the left and the right, we're taking a hit, so you know it's true. Hear the banter ignite, raise your voice loud, shout it out tonight. The CADS chat shit, we'll sing it again with a smile and a grin. Oh, here's to the boys, let's make it a trend. With a wink and a nudge, let the fun never end.